Welcome, one and all, to the history of Jagg, a montage time-lapse of the history of Jagg, a planet in an upcoming RPG series, fighting series, and VR game. First face of Jagg was just going to be a really jaggedy, mountainous planet, a lot like Hats, but it was too similar. So started getting drawing and came up with some ideas to make the the mountains so blade-like and so spire-like that they actually look like blades. They look like a shuriken. The whole planet does. And also, as I was making this, I was thinking of rice paddies. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create rice paddy tiers going up about 1/3 of the way up the mountains, and then of course the rest of the mountain being a peak. As you can see right now, this is actually something called a K shard, which I'll get into much later. This planet specifically has a giant K shard made of cave material, basically pierced through the entire planet, which actually lets it spin on a different axis than most of the other planets in the Sol systems. And sadly right there you see a giant leap in time. I had lost about an hour and a half of video because I had a short circuit in the house, all the power went out. So I apologize, I actually lost how I even made all those different things, but basically I made one mountain spire for the top-down view, one mountain spire in the background, then mountain spire diagonally in the front. As you can see here, I'm making hot spring fields with giant geysers. They're geyser fields. So the planet is pretty almost inhospitable, other than what I'm doing right now is I'm coloring in all these different, what they're called right now, ecosystem pools. You got dark blue one, light blue one, really light blue one, almost green. And those are all different viscous. I would say the blue is more like water, while, oh no, you could say the blue is more like jelly. And going up, light blue is a little bit less viscous, and then, you got almost water. And then right there, as you can see, is a giant, almost like thick, like water-like atmosphere that goes around the entire planet. And now we're seeing right here, we're going into phase 2, where I took that same atmosphere and I made it into an overflow ocean. Basically, when the alpha species, the Kesslings, which are crab-like, lobster-like species when they evolve, they also decide that their planet is very inhospitable. So what do? They summon forth, with their water controlling abilities, they summon forth pure water from inside the planet. And it bursts forth from the geyser fields and from the mountains themselves, hence all the little waterfalls falling down. As you can see, the geyser fields are now turning into what's called bubble fields, cyclonic bubble fields, which also create ecosystems in there as well. Now, the reasons the Kesslings flooded their planet was to create more ecosystems. They're obsessed with life. They're obsessed with constantly keeping things in motion, so they decided they wanted to keep their planet's ecosystems, evolutions constantly in motion, and their own. Well, what you're seeing right here is actually when they start using K material from the South Pole. As you can see, the South Pole K shard is a little bit smaller. They've been mining that material and creating different technology. And this technology is basically floating lily pad cities, like with giant tendril-like buildings hanging below within the water, and they kind of skim off the water there. Because, the planet flooded, it created more ecosystems, so more flora definitely sprouted up here and there. There's a lot more flora underwater, as you can't really see in this diagram, but believe me, it's there. And also at this point, there's the Kesslings of the Stalwart. They are the Kesslings that stay within the south part of the shard. I'll go into that much later. Now we're going into phase 3, where something horrible and very sudden happened to the planet Jagg, where within a day or so, the whole planet was decimated and frozen over. As you can see is happening here. All the lily pad, which are called overpad cities, they're all destroyed. Right here, we're making ice shard fields for where the bubble fields used to be. So basically, the planet was just about flash frozen. No one really knows why. I mean, well, obviously someone does. And as you can see, snow has come back into the atmosphere, which there's not really, I don't think there's going to be much of an atmosphere left on this planet. There won't be much weather, I know that much at least. As you can see here, that something before the planet froze completely, it looks as almost if water burst forth and destroyed the mountain peaks of some of these mountains, and then were frozen in place, and that definitely is kind of giving me a hint as to what happened and how sudden it happened. And again, as you can see, put more snow. But yeah, it's a beautiful tropical world turned into devastated crap. And then right here you have the gate that leads to the only civilization left in the world, but it's encased in the middle of the planet. Well, thanks one and all for coming to watch this history of Jagg. Tune in next time for a history of Cigna coming up in the next few weeks.